Greetings, my peoples. You are now tuned into, yeah, naturally. What? Oh, I want this. Yeah, y'all tune into Context Matters. The date is May 9th, 2024. I want to start by saying a big, special happy birthday to my sister, Roxanne Nita. Yeah, a big happy birthday to you. I'm not gonna put your age out there because they say you're not supposed to tell a woman's age. So I can't do that. But a big happy birthday to you. Also, big up a special happy birthday as well to big top lawyer, Mr. Jordan Clark. I know he shared a birthday with my sister, so that's how I never forget. But you know how it is. Um, And if you're celebrating a birthday today, we are in May, and good things happening. Mother's Day is coming up. My mother checked me today. She get our Mother's Day present. We see her in our well, them come preach for our gift, but she get it early. In these day and age, you have to make hay while the sun shine, and you have to celebrate. Every day for me is Mother's Day, as far as I can see, because I wouldn't be here if my mother never take 9 months out of our time to have engagements with my father and action, put it in context. That's why I'm here. So anybody that don't want me on this earth and feel away and disappointed that I'm here, just shout out to my mama and my papa. I feel them fault, deal with them. Sorry, can't help that. But happy birthday to anybody who's celebrating a birthday today. A happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in the world, because without you, life really would not be possible. So I'm going to start right there. But you know how life is funny, because we're talking about equity and we're talking about equality. Why? Why do not celebrate the father then? Why we can't be celebrated like the mothers? Why the companies don't start to promote those things so we can feel special too? Just a ask, just a why. But as I said, you're tuned into Context Matters. Make we talk, make we reason, make we have that conversation. All right.
That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way.
Open. Talk to me. Y'all still saying that no? Y'all still feel that way? Oh no. Yeah. You see, that's why I went to say yo. Okay. I deal with listen. All right, yeah. So let me repeat what I was saying. Let me. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Good. Y'all hear me now? All right. I was saying, um, in terms of equity and equality, do you know the difference? And do we actually need equity? Do we need equality if we actually are in a position to deal with natural justice, natural law, where everything is just it works for everybody? So that context, that the context um, should be or ought to be non-existent in a space. It should be non-existent in a space where we basically are understanding or are appreciating that life shouldn't life should never be a situation where we have to be complaining about equality, complaining about equity, complaining about opportunities for all and these things. So I was just asking. So I'm expecting response in the comment section as to where that is concerned. Um, yeah. So talk to me on that aspect. And I see make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares is saying Jamaicans and friends of Jamaica, let us raise our voices in protest against the corrupt government of Jamaica on Friday, May 10th, 2024, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. live on the MEC we talk Jeffrey Tavares LLC YouTube. Yeah. So Jeffrey says that. Kevin then says the question should be and this is so interesting. Should the poor have rights? No, say I'm using direct link, so it shouldn't be a question of that should not be a problem. But yeah, so yeah. Any response to that? Somebody's saying the sound gone again, but so me not believe that. We don't believe it. We can't see it. But yeah. So that would be the start of the question. But let me just put things in context. This, as always, for those who can see and those who are listening, it's the Jamaican Constitution, the Charter of Rights. I always encourage people. I said, you're supposed to have a copy of it. You're not supposed to. Don't leave home without it. All that good. Um. Okay, loud and clear. Somebody. Yo, sometime my phone the internet now work. When I forget Starlink and come off of the little when in the plan up and when $100 credit where run out and I blame me about my things. Tell you see it? Yeah. Then I'll cuss and say me rude. Up your game with a new internet plan. Endless amount of Wi-Fi. Right here on Starlink. All right, yeah. So the two sections that we're talking about is definitely to speak about equality. So when we look into the law, 13.3G speaks about equal treatment, which is the right to equality before the law. That is a right that SG said, my internet is great. It is yours, sir. Don't make a rude to you. Then Andrew said, I said, Starlink a freeze. You broke an amount of money. Don't try trick way. And then SC said, I'm in Canada and your sound is breaking at times. So you and your little Jamaican internet, don't be rude. And then Kevin, it says, so they're coming at me now and they're not being nice to me. The comment section is being so rude. It have me breaking out in sweats to the way how they're being rude to me. And they said, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Um, and Kevin said, yeah, you should suffer, you fool. Mr. Buchan, you are talking me, and I mean, though your friend will check back. And then some people say loud and clear. Comment section, you say I love freedom of expression, even though we're talking about equality today. And the next one that we're talking about is by any public authority in the exercise of any. So we have those sections to contend with, and people are seeing that. You're right. I'm seeing that from my end clearly that there is some internet connectivity issues. But I must put this out and let you know that for the purposes of this live, the internet that I'm connected to is Flow Jamaica. It is a local company, and I'm just putting it out there. If my internet is bad, it's their fault because I pay my bill, and yeah, and do not blame Starlink. It is definitely the Flow network. My people are. It is. Tanya said, "Sir, just go deep in the equality. I'm at work and I don't have time for all of this break that you're doing." But yeah. Anyway, yeah. So back at it. So I just gave you 13.3G and 13.3H. So you have the equality aspect and then you have the equity aspect. We have two distinct provisions within the Constitution that addresses it. An equitable treatment by a public body, which means a government supposed to treat you fairly. So, for instance, there's this big this matters, context matters. There's this big war going on in Parliament in Jamaica about the use of money. And again, it's context matters. The Ministry of Health, his name is Christopher Tufton, from the little cottage in Negril. So he is the Minister of Health. He is a doctor of letters, not a medical doctor. So he did champion us through COVID and provide the AstraZeneca vaccine for Jamaicans along with others. And it's not his fault. Let me just make it clear that the makers of AstraZeneca have now come and say has pulled it from the market because it has blood clotting issues. So we don't know if all those teachers that dropped dead, if that has anything to do with it, whether or not they were vaccinated with that. We just don't know. Anyway, he's saying that the leader of opposition, he blasts the leader of opposition for causing the diaspora and the world at large to believe that there was an overrun of $20 billion for the Cornwall Regional Hospital. The budget, when it was originally $2 billion to refurbish the Cornwall Regional Hospital. I think that Cornwall is somewhere in St. James, like Montego Bay or something like that. But it's in Jamaica, though. Yeah. And anyway, it's the budget had moved from $2 billion and they're now at $20 billion. So a waste of taxpayers' money, and you totally miss the mark. And he says, no, 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 no. We had to build out. It is not an overrun. We had to build out the surrounding areas to make sure that the project works. So we spent that money, and yeah. So like we said, context matters. You, from a marketing perspective, can decide whether spending $20 billion to make a $2 billion project work is not an overrun and an over expenditure. Or you can just say, hey, let's market me and just put it this way. We were doing other things and it's just, it's obiter. It just happened to be by the way that we had to spend $20 billion while we improve the project in and of itself. So you must, it's a matter for you. But why we speak about that is, different strokes for different folk. Yeah, we're talking about equality because what I do know is that in the Jamaican space, if you are Haitian right now with a big revolution and a war going on in your country, and you jump on a boat and jump on a raft, 253 of you on a raft, and then ever land on the shores of Jamaica, I promise you, the Minister of Security is going to drape you up and lock you up, and you won't be able to go to the Rock Hotel at the expense of the government out and have the news, the local news, have you walking around and just vacationing, having entered the country illegally. So when it comes to immigration policies, it just really matters where you come from, and it definitely matters your race. And although they say out of many one, if you fall in the black side of it, your black side go and feel it. Yeah, can't say I never tell you. But monkey see, monkey do. And I know Keisha's gonna say, don't use the word monkey because they wanted to kill you. Yada yada yada. You get where I'm coming from, but that's the idea and the context in which we are going to be talking about equity and equality. I gave you the rights, 13.3G, it's in your Charter of Rights, and 13.3H. For the purpose, Loxley, always big up yourself, my grandfather name has been calling a lot lately. Anytime him name call is tax season, so it always have to do with some piece of land where him own. I mean, government now try to take it them and try overtax you. Anyway, again, let me just go back. And to know what is in the is actually, this internet is really embarrassing me. It's actually 13.3G, the right to equality before the law, and 13.3H, the right to equitable and humane treatment by any public authority in the exercise of any function. So the Constitution, clearly, it is letting you know, and it wants you to know and appreciate that there are two distinct words, two distinct meanings, and so we now must get to the root of it and try to figure out whether or not we fall into this. Just in the way, so it don't look good. Yeah, whether or not we can fall into the which one of them we're dealing with at any particular time. So we want to have a look at that, right? Yeah. So if equality means each individual or group of people is given the same resources or opportunities. Equity recognizes that each person has different circumstances and allocates the exact resources and opportunities needed to reach an equality and surrounding equity is very, I must tell you this, if you take it out of context, you're going to sound very racist, prejudice, you're going to sound very discriminatory. The irony of it, most of the diaspora people would be affirmative action is an equitable tool that tries to assist in equality. Note that. But if you are not, if you're not a part of the persons benefiting from the affirmative action, you will feel really bad because it's almost like the race of life. For instance, the saying, if you're white, you're all right. If you're brown, stick around. If you're black, get back. That is the type of concept of equality, the need for it, the lack thereof, or notwithstanding the vast strides that the feminist movement has managed to make in terms of coining the term toxic masculinity and misogynism or misogynistic behavior, which toxic masculinity, toxic black male identity and his existence. But if you're a black man, naturally you're strong, you're assertive, and everything that comes with it. Yeah, just ask Jada; she can tell you. When she says "What's up," you know the definition. That is anything that is connected to black identity and existence is something that people try to suppress. Anyway, like I said, when you have the conversation, a lot of people will be offended because it will sound like you're speaking down on one race rather than dealing with race pride and trying to get people to assert their rights within a particular society. So while while the terms equity and equality may sound similar, the implementation of one versus the other can lead to dramatically different outcomes for marginalized people. Marginalized people are minorities in any party. Tashchin, I wish I knew what you were laughing. What you were laughing about, but I saw it go. We'll pick that up eventually if you stick around. All right, so equality actually means each individual or group of people is given the same resources or opportunity. I said that earlier because I don't want you to miss sight or lose sight of that. Equity recognizes that each person has different circumstances and allocates the exact resources and opportunities needed to reach an equal outcome. So imagine let me see. Think of basketball players. The rim is like 10-5 or 10 foot. But then if you're 5'5", it's difficult for you to play with somebody who is 6'8", 6'9". And not generally to make it equitable or to make it equal, whichever one, you're going to have to set rules to ensure that everybody can manage it. I'm thinking in my mind, there's a lady, I never forget her. If anybody of you and if any of you know about track and field, somebody can correct me in the comments. I think her name is Casta Samaya. Well, this is a woman. She is a woman. I'm not here to talk about anything other than the fact that she was born a woman. She has a vagina. She has all the compartments of a woman, but somehow scientifically our body produces testosterone. I don't even know if I said that word right. Testosterone, yeah, testosterone, yeah. And she is able to run faster than the average woman, the normal woman. So she'll win all the races. What the Athletic Federation end up doing is have her through a whole lot of court cases for the last 8 years. So she would have missed 2 Olympics and the opportunity to leave her mark on her greatness, having been born a woman. And yeah, see, thank you, Keisha. It is Caster Semenya. So yeah, I know her. In my mind, I remember her, and what they did was they changed the definition and tried to say that she basically, notwithstanding she has born that gift and that ability to run with her thing, and so the rules say that she couldn't participate. and participating and what ironically in modern day society, if you're a male, just ask Chris Jenner or whatever, or Caitlyn Jenner or whatever the Jenner guys. If you're a male and you're no longer good at the sport that you are in, you simply just get up and say, you know what, I'm a female, and you put on the bath suit and you get some estrogen in you, athlete that should be respected. And when some of them, and you know what I mean. But like I said, the context matters. People can be offended while you try to make the equality thing, but marginalized groups fit themselves into spaces, and there must be provisions for them. And when you identify marginalized groups, it's not always the odd group out. But if you are a black man in a white society, you are a marginalized group. If you are a Chinese person in an all black society, you're marginalized. There must be process to make a counter to cause you to have an opportunity to strive in a space that you're foreign to. I'm gonna say it just I'm gonna leave it like that. So anything outside of the norm. But that the equity would have been lost in an effort to bring about equality. And that was a utilitarian concept, which I don't necessarily think was fair, because they would have to change the rules to prevent her from being her natural self, because it's her gift from God, versus changing the rules to allow a man who becomes a female to compete, whether it be swimming, whether it be running, and saying that because we have to allow people to identify as who they are, um, and facilitate that to ensure. And then some years down the road, people are going to say, "Oh, but we were wrong," and because we were wrong, we ought to correct some of the things. But while people were living in the now, they experience a lot of hardship from the decisions that the majority make into trying to provide equity or equality, and not knowing which is which. And so, to put things in context, we would have to find where exactly we are on the scale of equality and equity, and if what we are doing, if it actually works. um just this week, the court in Jamaica has reserved judgment on the church suing the government for the way it handled the COVID situation and all the money lost from their ability to collect, ability to also pre-fed, or they either helped because of the restriction and the lack of movement. Will be interesting to see what the courts do, but the mishandling of situations sometimes can be the reason why equity hasn't been meted out, or equality. So so the I'm trying to keep up with the comment section as well. The man in South Africa with the spring legs, that is equity. Somebody said no one can fool the diaspora. We come from different educational backgrounds. Joycelyn, I don't know what context that you say that in, so I'm going to that point, and if I'm happen to see it, we'll see it. But that's another thing. The educational background, despite what your education is, there's no guarantee that despite your being educated in a particular field, that you possess the critical thinking attributes to be able to just do simple things such as comprehension. Reading and understanding is a completely different thing from reading and comprehending. And I think I did a whole show on comprehension versus understanding. Understanding is a surface level, and to respectfully, this day and age, um, for me, especially in the Jamaican context, once again, people are going to be upset about this. I have a degree, and it from the University of the West Indies. I'm UEcated, and I know the worth of my degree. I have interface with other persons who have degrees from other institutions, and I just don't know what they were teaching them there. People can drape me up on it, but not because you have a degree, it means that you have any sense or you have any education. What I can tell you is when it comes, it is important to be able to debate the facts, deduce or induce the important and the salient points to come to a proper conclusion. And you have to critically assess every situation, including knowing the situations you're incapable of critically assessing. For instance, don't have a conversation with me about cooking. But if you want to have a conversation with me about KFC, you're not going to win on that point, because apart from the fact that I don't know what the 16 herbs and spices is, I know food that tastes good. All right. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Let's get into the concept. Now, imagine or visualize picking apples, and they give everybody a 3-foot ladder, and the tree actually bends. So all the apples are easier to pick with the 3-foot ladder on the left side. But the man on the right side is about 4'3", and he has the same 3-foot ladder. The apples on the right side are about 10 foot in the air. What would be the requirement, or what would be the way to have equality? Because at the end of the day, the boss is going to say, I don't understand it. Short boss, don't pick no apple, but daddy long legs pick all of the apple them. So naturally, our HR manager, who is educated, whether through the diaspora or in Jamaica, not necessarily from the University of the West Indies, they are going to come and say, tall man is the best short boss on the 3-foot ladder, and they put tall man or tall whatever daddy long legs on the same 3-foot ladder where the tree bends and the apples is just 3 feet. He could have used his hand and picked them, and then they want to fire short boss. So, to level the playing field, what would HR need to do to ensure that the full potential of short boss is something that can be reached? Well, what you need to know is, based on what I just said, is that the two in the have unequal access to the tree that provides the fruit, with equal support from evenly distributed tools. Their access to the fruit still remains unequal. That is, they both have the same 3-foot ladder, but one is short and one is tall. So the equitable solution, however, allocates the exact access the fruit, leading to positive outcomes for both individuals. What does that mean? Equitable treatment means the HR manager or the HR people would simply need to provide for require, including another person is up there, they can have access to the fruits, and then equal opportunity in terms of energy expenditure will be worse. It's simply, it's almost like equitable treatment means if you have a building and you have access, that ability for that person to contribute is going to be able to come is going to be able to flourish, because they're going to come into the building and provide the support what they need. Yeah, I'm aware and I'm seeing it for myself that the video is going in and out. Like I said, that is what I call it. That's flow for you. Flow knows that I have context matters on this day, so I suppose that's what's happening there. Yeah, I'm aware that the live keeps freezing, but I'm doing my best. If you're having a problem, see if you can tune into Reggae Global Radio and see what their feed looks like on that side. I don't have nobody telling me if it's any better there, but I'm doing the best I can with the very lame internet that I have. So while the tree appears to be in naturally occurring system, it's critical to remember that social systems aren't naturally equitable. Reward specific demographics along that system outcomes may appear unintentional but are actually rooted discriminatory practices and beliefs. So just know, and that's why I raised the HR situation. If you're short and you go in and the HR, the whole slavery vibes, then put the house people them in the house, in the shade, and put the other nigga them for work hard in the field when the sun hot. And then naturally them have water lock off. So you're out there and your mouth dry and you're hungry and go drop down and get heat stroke. And then them say, we're doing our best to correct the situation. But if you know what you do, catch water in the night and bring it for you because it's just the system. But them now put them friend them out in the sun hot. That is the thing that we're talking about. Some things are discriminatory practices and beliefs that are deeply embedded in society. And it is through equitable treatment that you can, that you remember, before the law, i.e., you can't say they can't create something new and say everybody must drive to the facility. Because when you turn on your TV in the night, the people them are gonna say, we want equal treatment. Them forgive we can't have the legs. When some people get the car, they don't have the eyes. When some people get the car, they don't have the ears. They don't have all the mechanisms to drive. Equitable treatment suggests that when people are planning and putting things in place for you, that they put enough thought to it that if they're going to provide cars, the cars must be either equipped to facilitate the people who don't have legs, the people who don't have eyes, the people, if those who don't have eyes and legs and stuff, that the place must put in place that if you're with a driver, stuff like that. So the route to achieving equity will not be accomplished through treating everyone equally. It will be achieved by treating everyone justly according to their circumstances. So, for instance, I am a huge proponent of rehabilitation. A huge proponent of rehabilitation. In Jamaica, currently, there's no form of rehabilitation that's taking place. The true meaning of rehabilitation. And I'm not tooting my own horn, but if anybody knows my story, if you want to know what rehabilitation looks like, it is me. And there's no system in place that would have a recreation of taking place in my life. Here's a part of the crime fighting tool. Yeah, this internet thing is really, 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 it really um it's doing a number. It's beyond embarrassing. But yeah, what I was saying is the rehabilitation, what it would look like, what rehabilitation ought to look like in the Jamaican space per se, would be to have inmates while they're incarcerated, whatever time it is, go through a robust educational program, a robust type of more humane conditions, more interventions from private um, private sector, international communities, an actual prison that would be one that is. built with, so that people who are already on the street, not living in humane conditions, are experiencing what it is like to be to live like a human being and have the ambition and the drive to want better for life. When they get out now, there is continuing probation programs that will assist system in the that the government has a system that gives you either a scholarship so that you can go to the university and become a lawyer, a doctor, an Indian chief, anything. But what you're gonna hear from the equality train is, no, sir, you not forget rewarded because you go after you mash up your life and you go on a prison, government for pay for your ton smaddy. Never like that. Them for make law, for make a life and death you should have get. You teach the people them mango, you should have get the death penalty, and now you want to come get degree off for taxpayers. Well, that's just usually what the conversation is about. But I'm going to repeat it again. The road to achieving equality will not be accomplished through treating everyone equally. It will be achieved by treating everyone justly according to their circumstances. So, what does that look like? Simple. If Campion is the best school in Jamaica, which I will posit, I think that it is, then all the teachers who are teaching of Campion should be rerouted to Haile Selassie or the Norman Manley High School, and they should, I think, them should take up the desk and the chairs and everything and give them down there. If them have AC in the office, I can burn them for put it over Haile Selassie and the Norman Manley High School or whatever. I don't know if I'm saying it right. And they should make the environment conducive. And bearing in mind, if it is issues for learning, if learning is not conducive, then they should increase the monies that they give on PAD program, and they should buy KFC for them every day. But then the problem with that is that then the kids are gonna get fat, and then them gonna be lazy, and then them can't get to play Manning Cup, and them can't go a girls and boys champ because them are gonna be too big and fat because them eat too much KFC every day. But I mean, in a perfect world, you know what I'm saying. Feed them properly, differently. The school should subsidize that if those children parents can't afford it, because if the children are the future and you want them to have a good education, it means you have to deal with their needs. The government should subsidize it if it says that they have a right to education, certainly up to primary education. It's not necessarily secondary, but I'm just putting that out there to show you what equitable treatment means. So when they put out these stupid statistics to show us that to show us that, oh, this school is 99.5% of those that get all the ones and the passes in these subjects and all of that. Of course, if you're in UPT, certainly if you go into Immaculate and you go into Campion and you go into these schools that are traditional high schools with the system. And shout out to the alma mater are the alumni or what they call them, who especially out of the diaspora spend a whole lot of money making sure them school pride is A1. Shout out to them. But you understand the type of inner workings that's necessary to provide equal education, equitable education. So when people talk about equality, the equity is the behind the scenes to make sure everything is balanced. I imagine or dream of a society where, like Cuba, you go on a football field and all that's out there on both sides with a male, female, lawyers and engineers and chiropractors and everything different, because they are multi-talented and the government ensures that they're an educated society. Why did I bring up Cuba? Because unlike anywhere else in the world, Cuba was the only Caribbean nation that was able to fight ensure that people were okay. I don't even think their treatment was called vaccine, but it was called something to ensure that it prevents people from dying during COVID. And they took all their doctors and all their medical staff and took them to Europe to ensure that the whole of Europe never did. Our society when it comes to equality. So equality and equity are not synonymous, and I just want people to know this and understand this. It's this right now. Just Beverly, big up yourself. This this context matters is kind of unilateral, meaning I'm really in teacher mode now, so there's not much interaction that I can do because I really want you to get it. And if you don't get it this time, I'm hoping that you'll rewatch it so we can have conversations sometime in the future of building a critical skill. The real sad thing about it is that the internet is really embarrassing me. No equality in the internet. And then now you Starlink. I gotta fix that, watch and see. All right. So the words equality and equity are often confused because at a glance they appear to mean the same thing. They both have to do with the way people are treated, and both are used in the fields of law, government, economics, and so on. Often these terms are used to describe actions, laws, or rules that are attempting to end or oppose injustice or unfair treatment of people. However, equality and equity, as noted above, are not synonymous, and the methods used to achieve them are often very different. Again, what does equality mean? Well, the word equality is defined as the state of quality of being equal, correspondence in quantity, degree, value, rank, or ability. Good? Now, equality is usually simple to understand. Three buckets that all contain five apples are in a state of equality. They all have exactly the same amount of the exact same items. Now, under the law, Americans have equality in the sense that no personal quality. The word quality of being fair or impartial, fairness, impartiality, or something that is fair and just. Equity now is more complicated than equality. Here's why. The complications with equity is that people often disagree on what is just or fair. So these are subjective concepts, and as a result, laws and policies that attempt to achieve equity are often challenged in court or are controversial. And so I tell you, every time we start to think about equity, it really, really unfair. For instance, house figure, and they have some 2 bedrooms and they have some 1 bedroom. But them have a because this is a real thing. I read in the article, there's this woman blessed by God, but naturally, because of journalism that just hype, they missed the point. There's a woman now in Jamaica. I do not know her name. The public can educate me, but her womb is blessed by God. She was sent on earth with a blessed womb. But naturally, the papers, journalism in Jamaica doesn't put that in the paper. So the headline doesn't say, woman blessed by God needs 5 sets of twins and 2 children, all of which none of them no handicap. All of them are beauty. I see them, every one of them is seen on the paper. Beautiful from the top of them head to the sole of their feet. Eyes, ears, mouth, teeth, and tongue. Just get what I'm saying. Blessed by God. 5 sets of twins. The the probability of having twins twice as a woman, even if you have genetically predisposed to having twins, is only 2 times, and she's had it need, because nobody who even if you're planning to have a family, nobody thinks that every time them get pregnant, two are gonna come out one time. And everywhere else in the world, the families that have these anomalies, she should go in the Guinness Book of World Records for every time she open her legs, two beautiful kids come out of them. She's fertile, she's blessed. I'm saying everything positive about her. Because the next thing I'm going to say is that when government giving out the house, obviously, this woman who needs government assistance, though everybody would like to live in an 8-bedroom house, if they only have one 8-bedroom house, she's blessed by God and the government is to give her an 8-bedroom house. But everybody are going to say, nah, she won't not figure breed. Why government have to get a house for 8 house? But a woman that can have 5 sets of twins beautifully made by God, and she should have her own reality TV and produce 10 doctors or 5 lawyers, 5 doctors who are also athletes, put them in a house and watch their lives, and we watch them grow, and we root for them as long as we're alive, and we watch them grow from now till they're about 35 and see if any one of them will become the prime minister or any one of them will do something great. Is there a scientist? Should we help them and guide them and make sure none of them become criminals and none of them face hardship? Because this is an anomaly. It is something put on earth by God. These things don't just happen by chance. And so the equity of kids are given the opportunity to speak about this lady, who I don't know her name. I don't see nobody in the comments telling me if they know her or if they know anything about her. But I will say this: we must not forget that Usain Bolt's mother had 9 kids. Same thing for Bob Marley. And majority of the great people. So it's almost like lotto. If you don't have a ticket, you don't have a chance in the race of life for greatness to take place. And so I'm just putting that out there. So the equitable aspect of it then is to ensure that you have to take extra steps so that people can have an equal chance. So the best way to show the difference between equality and equity is with an example. So, for example, if I gave a rich woman and a poor woman each $100, that would be an example of equality, since I gave both the same amount of money. So that's what equality looks like. And yes, J Souls, every child is blessed by God. Nobody says no. What people, first of all, if you're born, you're a winner. Like Cat Williams said, Robert De Niro. I don't know how he even came up with it. Was it Robert De Niro? Anyway, he said the man is 80 and he had a child and he had 1 sperm, and that sperm was like, and just by itself went to the egg, no race. But if you're here, you're a winner, because that 1 million sperm during that time, and you are the nut from your father's sack that make you end up here. You are a winner. So we know the speciality and we know the intricacies of being born a winner. One of the things I always wonder is after spending 9 months, some of us 7, after spending 9 months in your mother's womb, why is it that when you're born, aren't you 9 months? And 3 more months make you 1? Why are they tricking us? Why is they tricking us? Why when we're born 3 months later we're not 1? But anyway, that's another thing. So if you alternatively, so equality is clear. 2 people in front of you, and as parents, that's what they do. They go $100 if you have 2 children. It's so easy. That's equality. And then when so I gave my son $100 and I gave my daughter $100. I just can't figure out why in life my daughter became a lawyer, but my son is, every time I turn my back, him in at the people them mango tree and him at teeth the people them goat. answer to that is equality is not always the answer. There, you have to look for the behind the scenes activities, and that's why we critically assess. Where is the equity in it? Did you find out if your son needed a lot more love than your daughter? Did you find out if he was in slow school, if he had behavioral problems, if he suffers from mental illnesses, if he's physically able but deficient mentally, retarded? I don't know. I'm using all of these things to say, well, the ideal example. Alternatively, if you gave the rich woman 100 and a poor woman 200, then it could be said that I'm trying to achieve equity by fairly giving the poor woman more help based on her financial situation. So obviously, if a woman surfaces and she has 12 kids, rather than starting from the discriminatory judgment point about she should have locked her legs, the solution is to provide more for her from the government coffers, from the cookie jar, to ensure that the little children suffer not, or suffer the little children to come on to me, but to ensure that you protect the children, because Jesus not here and them said Jesus protect the children and the fools, you do Jesus work for him. So that is an attempt at equity. Provide can be okay. So when we have and the uptown people say, so we have tanks. If the water people will just turn on the water long enough so that my tanks can be filled, just a little 2 hours more and I'll be fine. Why is everybody complaining about water lock off across the country? All we need is a little 3 hours so our tanks can be filled and we're good from Mondays to Thursday. And that's exactly what happened. Because uptown the water turn on long enough and then it's almost like when the uptown people them tank full, they call the people and say, my tanks are full, and them lock it off for 3 days. And then the people them little bit down the road, them say them come across and say, Miranda, I can't come across to the car. Me never get for wash under me. And the water never come back. And it's rough. And me can't go in on the bus, because I'm going on the bus, them I go thump out my teeth. And if them thump out my teeth, them I go smell my breath, because my breath stink, and I don't want. Anyway, let me get the idea. So ideally, what we would be able to achieve both equality and equity when it comes to the law and society, because naturally in the places where they're to provide equality and they're to provide equity, they're to trouble with it is. And I am having a little trouble because I don't know where I have no clue where the hold on. Just one of them days. Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. Yeah, so the people who are put in place to make these decisions, I don't even think they know that 13.3G and 13.3H, they don't know that that's in the Constitution. I'm not being in with the hope that of the importance. If no, so what I want to say is knowing the difference between equality and equity will give you a better idea about what goal a person is trying to achieve and the proper word to use to describe it. So we big up yourself, Rowan. Rowan candid expressions. If I say Rowan and the big up Rowan, Rowan is responsible for the graphics for Context Matters. The photograph too. I tell you. Aesthetics matters. So find you a photographer, find you a company that can take a picture that can make it actually look good. Because man, I tell you, say, yo, being poor is a sin, being ugly and all of these things, anything can happen. And a good photographer can help you as well. Anyway, so that is it. Knowing what goal you are to achieve, why can't they build a conflict resolution committee? That's what they do. But we're at the top of the hour, and we are definitely gonna have to take that break. And as we take that break for 5 minutes, I'm going to open the line and we'll have conversations about what your understanding of equality and equity is, what you think we should be doing to reach the mark. And if anybody knows the name of the woman, let me know her name. I just think she's blessed by God and she has beautiful children. Just thought I'd share that.
That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better, you live it your own way.
Wanna see how life funny? The thing when that I play, no problems not go on with the internet, As me start talk internet a fight against me. I'm like fight against the Rasta man, Yeah, man. That me I try telling you. But yeah, your thoughts on I'm born free and live free. Kevin, you always say some abstract things. I always have to wonder sometime, but respect for always joining. We live, we learn, right? That's what I say. The next thing that I want to get at is maybe you can hear it. I don't know. Tell me if y'all hear it. It says
Equal rights, justice, equal rights.
yeah, I don't know if you guys heard that, but that is Peter Tosh, right? I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I think it's him.
I don't want
No peace, equal rights and justice,
equal rights.
and justice. Yeah. So I don't know if you agree with that, but and justice, yeah, that's equal rights, and that's exactly what we need in Jamaica. Thing about it is, equal rights is not enough. That is why context matters. Where we are now in Jamaica, let me just give you an example. Every time there's a meeting at the United Nations and all these world leaders get together and it looks so nice. Everybody's in a suit and they're in these places and the mics are there and you see the Jamaican flag and you see the name Jamaica and you see Barbados and you see Trinidad and you see the Caribbean nations, the Commonwealth nations, and you say, wow, and then you see them amongst the Great Seven, the G7 summit, and the five nations with veto power, and you're like, oh my, there's my leader, and they're my leaders, and everything looks nice. But you realize that um, Jamaica's ability to be a sovereign nation is completely affected by its economical reality, where it's positioned in the world, what the dollar is to the first world countries. Who do we owe? Who do we need? How often we need to beg? The type of assistance that we need to fight crime, to increase the distribution of education, for health, for everything that is governance, the assistance that we need. And Jamaica excels in its individual capacity through whether it be music, through athleticism, and every now and then you have these extraordinary Jamaican people that just do things on the world stage that no contribution has come from the nation itself in the individual achievements that make us so proud from time to time. Um, so when we speak and we listen to the Peter Tosh song, he says he doesn't want any peace. What he wants is equal rights and justice. Well, justice is an equitable remedy. Declarations that speaks to the rights, which include equality. And I think that when people cry out for equality, what they're really saying is that they want equity. And I'm not talking about 13.3H, which is equitable and humane treatment by public officials. We're talking about equitable treatment from the people that we live around. So for me, I just feel like when I enter a KFC, I don't want nobody judging me and saying whether Rasta doing a KFC and him for go down that place there where make veggie chunks kind of eat a KFC and stuff like that. I want equitable treatment to ensure that I get my barbecue chicken when I need to get it without being discriminated against and without there being a conversation as to why I need it. That's the equity I'm talking about. KFC must put on my barbecue chicken and make sure my coleslaw is there. So when I come for it, I can get it. I want equity, rights, and justice when it comes to that. So that's the same thing that I'm inviting people to know, uh, add to your life, because I have conversations with people that are brilliant. They just don't have the money to go to get the degree. The worst don't have the money to get the degree from a reputable institution such as the University of the West Indies. They don't get the opportunity to be educated. So people treat them as if they don't have no sense and that they're not bright. But that is not what we want. We want people to get equal opportunities, that is equitable opportunities. And so maybe a system should be in place where somebody's extraordinary, brilliant, like the university waive the fees so that they can go and get their degrees so that they can come and contribute to the society, so we don't have so many people lost in the wilderness, because education is the great divider in a society like Jamaica, where it is necessary for you to break free. Otherwise, people are going to always want you at a cash register or send you outside. Like slavery isn't finished to go shovel and pick up whatever. In this situation, cane cutting and cotton picking, but you do get the idea that we need to transcend that, and to do that, it has to be equitable treatment. And then the people who are also remember, the poverty is the great crime in the Jamaican space. We have that over our heads. I think it is criminal. I think that even as we go into the next election, that we want crime to stop and we want better this and we want better roads and all of that. But we need the conversation of how you're going to eradicate poverty. We need the conversation as to how you're going to provide equitable solutions to the living conditions of every Jamaican. And so what is not being communicated, and the people are incapable of communicating, is because they don't know it, they don't understand it. So a person living on the street is not going to get up and say, excuse me, I need equitable treatment because my condition is what it is because of factors A, B, C, and D. Because they don't have educational progress to articulate themselves like that. And then when you come with the equitable conversations, people are saying you come with this mumbo jumbo talk about equitable treatment, and you sound like some minority isms, schisms you talk about, like you try creeping rights for the LGBTQ movements, and you go on like say just people when on a foot and hand must get special treatment, and the whole of way down here suffer. I saw them go on when them use the constitution and I pretend like say them business about people. But we are living in a reality where we have to understand what are the things we need to ensure that the quality of life is increased. So there is a conversation about how do we access the flow of money? how do we allow money to reach the people so that if they had the money, their lives and the choices that they make would be better? How do we ensure that the next generation actually has something to look forward to? Um, how do we bring back community parenting and really use restorative justice as a mechanism to ensure that we don't have a whole bunch of people walking around as criminals? Because these things are just markers of discrimination that people don't understand. And I'm making no argument to defend people who do wrong. I have even stopped the conversation of criticizing the JCF when they go out and the story or the headline is 4 men dead from a shootout, because these shootouts are actually happening. You can't even say that the JCF is doing something bad because people desperate and people have become heartless. But what is the signal or what is the message being sent? So if people are ready to take up guns and treat Jamaica like Haiti, and then they're unalived as a result, what the real question is, where equity was lost, equality was lost, opportunity was, people are mad, Frustration does not mean that you are mad, and having a psychotic break or diminished capacity, diminished responsibility, whatever you want to call it, is just a mechanism or um, a consequence of the reality. So when government says that we are doing good economically, and government says all is well is in the land, that is that is the complete opposite. If you wake up and you hear that the police had to have a shootout with 4 men with high powered weapons, that is the absence of a country that is so prosperous that people don't have no time to take up arms to do crime, and people aren't hungry for power to the point where this happens. So when we speak rights and justice, are we now talking about equity? And Angel says a big lie. I don't know. When I hear a big lie, I'm only thinking about a big six or a big deal at KFC. I've never seen a big lie on the menu, so I'm not sure what she's saying, but my eye caught that. Anyway, we have to come to that reality, and I see Valerie saying, through ISAT, the two Jamaica really have to stop. Attention needed for all citizens. And that's the point. If there are two Jamaicas existing, it's the absence of equality and it's the absence of equitable treatment. For there to be one Jamaica, there has to be equitable treatment, because you're going to have to expend more energy on the less fortunate. If we pay attention to the leader, and there, if that's the correct thing to say, people are thrown or cast out by the wayside. That will always happen in every society. So I don't propose to behave like Jamaica should become the utopian and the utilitarian society that everybody looked to. It was at a time, because Singapore had looked to Jamaica for financial stability and progress. And look at us now. But yeah, we are plagued by corruption much more than we are plagued by crime. Corruption is the reason why we have crime, and corruption is the reason why poverty remains the biggest criminal act to mankind in the Jamaican space. But that is just one aspect of what we're talking about when we deal with the whole conversation about equality and the conversation about equity. If people might say, but ISA, does equity means fairness? Well, the true answer to that is really understanding whether or not you agree what the term means. And it definitely, equity in my mind is definitely not equality. When one looks at the studies, um, we do understand that it is bridging the gap between diversity and it is finding the balance. So, like I said, if a short person needs 4 more steps reach to the level of a very tall person, that is equity. And if it is needed, it should be provided. That's pretty much um, what somebody is looking for. So if in practice equity is applied in various areas, it offers a fairer treatment than equality. So let's say, for example, and we're talking about this, I think it's this week alone, Jamaica has been placed on the list of achieving the non-transmission of HIV and syphilis to babies. So we're now on that first world status where, again, the future, you save the children from the unfortunate mistakes of their parents. So in hospitals and emergency rooms, patients are prioritized based on their health condition. Therefore, treatment is based on the severity of the condition rather than of arrival. And so that is equity. The thing about it is what though it appears to be equity, but then you have to have a system that can streamline what an emergency is. Because what if you walk in and you're not an alarmist and you said, I feel like my appendix is burst, but I'm feeling good because I'm a health buff and I know I'm bleeding out, but I can hold it, and then you drop dead, which has often has happened many times because emergency rooms, if you not have a gunshot and you bleed out and everybody say, "Whoa, me pick me, Lord God, save him." If you're not doing that when you show up at the hospital, they don't see it as an emergency. And so an overworked health system can oftentimes miss equity when it comes to accessing or providing treatment for people. So one has to look at that. Kevin says the black skin is not equitable. But I can tell you though, Kevin, the black skin is beautiful. So I think it's unfair for people to be born with that black skin and the rest of us who don't have the black skin walking around like mongrels thinking we're pretty is just most unfortunate. But that's a whole nother conversation. Wouldn't you say so, Kevin? Anyway, so what I want to do is to open the phone lines, get your thoughts, and through your thoughts, we enhance the conversation, because I think us we ought to move away from speaking about equality and trying to more have the conversation about more about reality and liberation. Liberation is to remove the walls. So think of a wall in front of you, and equality means you put steps there so people can see over the wall. But if you're short and the step is just 3 feet high and the wall is 10 feet and you're just 5 feet, you're not going to see over the wall. Equity would seem to suggest that you give people the height of the step so they can see over the wall. But liberation is to break down the wall. Around the walls of Jericho, you march around until you break down the wall. So when you break down the wall, what you have is liberation. The equity is just a short fix that is a little bit deeper than through comprehension than equality, which is about understanding. So a government says, here's equal treatment, five slice of bread for and you come back every 5 days. So that's a slice of bread a day. That is equal treatment. But giving somebody 5 slices of bread when they have 25 mouths to feed is not equality. equity seems to suggest that you give somebody 25 slices because they have 25 mouths to feed, and say come back in the 5 days, and then everybody is there, is that's the equitable treatment. But liberation is saying everybody just must come for the bread and access to the bread as much as it is. Um, that's a far cry, and you have to emancipate yourself from the mental slavery, but you must get access to the flow of money so that you're not a slave to the 5 slices of bread or the 25 slices of bread. And you don't need the equity and you don't need the equality because you have independence, so that when there is water lock off, you do have a tank. Not because you're from UPT, but when it becomes a world problem is when there's no water in the world and then they have to save it for the elite. That's a different conversation from being in a society where the two Jamaicas exist, and it's just the one set of Jamaica that can afford to do it, so it doesn't affect them. So you have people who's like, I don't need to vote because it doesn't matter who is in power. I'm going to have my salary anyway, and they're still going to take my taxes. We're not talking those people. We're talking about the people where it matter because they need the assistance. And so the $1,900 that the PATH program is providing right now, if that is the correct figure, is not helping on the scale, because I say this all the time, as it is right now, and I'm sure it's gone up. It's $600,000 a month to be a human, to live as a human being on the world index. 600,000 Jamaican dollars each individual in Jamaica needs. We're far away from that because minimum wage I don't even know what it is right now. We're not June yet, so it's probably $10,000 a week, short $560,000 a month or something like that. So yeah, that's pretty much what we look at, or that's honestly where we are on the the totem pole. But before I open the lines, mind you, I am going to actually show the number now. But something about the equality. So here I'm adding this for you to see. Um, so this photo is a footballer, and for whatever reason, the media caught her. I I have no context to put this in except for there's a woman kissing a woman, and it's a very deep kiss, and no consequence has flowed from it. What I will show as well is yeah. What I will add, or what I will show, is this. This right here is the let me tell you. Yeah, what you're seeing right there is I might pronounce the name wrong. Rubiales is the face trial for unwanted World Cup kiss. So the judge confirmed. So in Madrid, Spain, the disgraced former Spanish Football Federation ref Chief Luis Rubiales will stand trial for his forcible kiss on the lips of Women's World Cup winner Jenny Hermoso, a Spanish High Court judge decided on Wednesday. So I showed the two pictures because here it is. That display of affection. I guess the kiss was wanted and it was consensual versus the kiss. I don't know if culturally men kisses women on the lips, or you kiss on the lips if you're from that country. Um, so I'm not clear on it. I'm just putting it in context. Is that an unwanted kiss can have you in trial, as well as sometimes, because I have seen a plethora of videos where in Jamaica, the person responsible for the sports and stuff like that, they go around kissing everybody and no consequences come from it. But who knows? Maybe the kiss is wanted. But again, different strokes for different folks, and people will have to just deal with the equality or the lack thereof as it comes, and whether the treatment when we deal with things, if sometimes it is excessive. Somebody said kisisha. I don't even know what that means. The non-consequential female, consensual. Because I'm just show. I only show those two pictures, and let me show them again. Is in this situation or this scenario, this man stands trial for an unwanted kiss in public. Many things can flow from it, because at first glance one might say there's no harm. Socially, a kiss, whether it be on a mouth or the cheek, is just a kiss, and whatever, it wasn't groping, it wasn't it wasn't it wasn't a sensual kiss, but it was unwanted nonetheless. So I'm not saying it shouldn't take place, but then this public display of affection appears to be I don't know, it's a matter for you. I have no thought on it, but it just matters who, what, where, when, why. Context matters. I have no context for this one, so I can't but to show you that things in public can take a turn for the worse, and there are things sometimes behind the scene that can make things appear to be worse than it is. I see even in Jamaica, people are saying PR is the cause of why this week, is it this, yeah, why on Friday, what will happen or what will take place on Friday is a protest from the from the diaspora, yeah, the diaspora, the Dirty 30, as they call themselves, will be um, having a protest in America, in New York, Big Apple. The apple is happily, the apple is happening, and it is happening, and that's just that's what's going to happen. Hold on. This person is determined to call. You know that you're calling me, and you're calling me on context matters. Hello. Yes. Good afternoon. Make sure that I have you. Hold on. Hold on. Yes. Go ahead. I don't know why I'm not hearing you now, but hold on. Let me see if I can. Yeah. Go ahead.
They needed to ban
They need to do what?
LG all over the world. A man should not live with a man, a woman should not live with a woman. That's what the Bible says.
That's in the context of what? You have to help me out. What you're making reference to? The kiss?
Whatever those should not do that in public.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. It's a public display of affection versus an unwanted kiss, but I don't have no context. But I hear what you say, and that's your position, and you're entitled to have it. What's your thought on the the referee going to trial for his kissing of the football player?
Because he should not do that.
Okay. Okay, so you're of the view that both situations are wrong. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's me, but the connection is a little bit bad. So thanks for calling nonetheless. And I did hear what you have to say. All right.
You hear me now clearly, sir?
Yeah, a little better. I did hear you, and I said thanks for calling because I heard you. You said both situations were bad. All right, very well. Take care. Yeah. So the you heard the caller. She did say that the public display of affection should not happen. Two women shouldn't lay with each other, and as well as the man shouldn't did kiss the woman unwanted. So she has condemned both situations as being bad. In the meantime, as I said, tomorrow, if you happen to be in the New York,
what we can see so far is barrack for tomorrow for the protest. You can see the barricades there. You can see the barricades already outside here for the protest, the Jamaican protest for tomorrow. We're live from Lower Manhattan, Wilfred Radigan and Jeffrey Tavares.
I'm gonna play that again. So
what we can see so far is barricades already up for tomorrow for the protest. You can see the barricades there. You can see the barricades already outside here for the protest, the Jamaican protest for tomorrow. We're live from Lower Manhattan, Wilfred Radigan and Jeffrey Tavares.
All right, so what you have here, what you have going on there now is Miss Ratigan and Jeffrey Tavares is in New York ahead of the protests. Ahead of the protest tomorrow. And what also is interesting about that is protesting to me is a form of freedom of expression. If you're angry about something, it's nice for you to protest. Similarly, like on the internet, if you don't like somebody, just make a YouTube video and you and your fans can just have a wonderful time saying anything you want. It's freedom of expression. I think it is healthy for persons to have an outlet to express themselves. What I found very interesting, and this is just my opinion about it, is that ahead of the protest, you just take up the paper randomly in the morning, and there are persons who are saying, "Oh, don't go support the protest. It's bad for Jamaica," and the dirty 30 and the diaspora people, that's so bad because the diaspora people making Jamaica look bad, and nobody can make anything look bad. In fact, people can say whatever they want. Let me just put me as an example. You can say whatever you want about me. You can't make me look bad. If you do the work and your work is good, it don't matter what anybody has to say. People by themselves. That's why context matters. People are able to critically assess, and when they make the assessment, they come to conclusions that are based on facts and evidence. So in a situation like this, where the Dirty 30 now comes together and said that they're protesting tomorrow, and this is the most anticipated protest that is happening outside of Jamaica, that is about Jamaica, and the government of Jamaica is worried about it. One really has to wonder, what is it that Jamaicans outside of Jamaica are aggrieved by whatever is happening in Jamaica? Crime, corruption, lack of accountability is spreading their voices, calling themselves the Jamaica Diaspora Council, and they're having a media spat about logos and that there are government officials on the unofficial diaspora committee and persons living in Jamaica calling themselves the head of the diaspora it is very, very entertaining. I don't know where the equality and the equity lies within that, but the fact that I took up the newspaper and saw persons in the dive, and the article says, oh, and the person is a doctor and contributes to the Jamaican society. Every person in the diaspora contribute to the Jamaican society. You could have been in America and you are white old people derriere and I clean them. When you pack that the barrel, they don't matter if he's a doctor or a lawyer, if you have any education. When that the barrel they come and people go clear it, and the blue barrel them drive out a wharf and them say, yes, my family from foreign brings 6 barrel and the Gloria evaporated milk. I don't know why the diaspora feel like we need Gloria evaporated milk, but every time in a pack barrel, Gloria evaporated milk in there. To this day, I don't know what Gloria 45 for. But anyway, it don't matter. Diaspora, and you do not like what is happening, and you go to New York or you're in New York court for your dissatisfaction in governance, you're entitled to do so. Those who are in media, whether it be state media or not, if you're gonna call me, you're gonna have to call me from a known number. I just have to state that clearly. I'm not gonna answer an unknown number, especially on live. You could be this diaspora or the government. So I have to see the number, so I know is what. Anyway, yeah. And when you make the complaint, you are able to express yourself, and media is supposed to make coverage to see if whatever you're saying is real or it's worthy or it is a cause worth hearing. But in one of the things is we are to listen to people who have complaints. We are to critically assess it and form a conclusion to see if persons are just merely being a gadfly, merely being a nuisance, and merely disparaging the good reputation of Jamaica. Important. Now, just get with me, just work with me now. So, do I support the cause? Well,
You can see so far is barricades already up for tomorrow for the protest. You can see the barricades already outside here for the protest, the Jamaican protest for tomorrow. We're live from Lower Manhattan, Wilfred Radigan and Jeffrey Tavares.
there's the issue of jurisdiction. Because if you're going to do a protest and you have your permit and you have your permit for voice and you have your permit for the amount of people, it's a legal, viable protest with issues that persons want to raise. The irony is that it's a big problem in Jamaica and it's not happening in Jamaica. What is it that you have to hide that when anything is said about Jamaica on the international stage, it must only be good? Why should it be good? When if things are bad, people ought to know. Jamaica is for everybody. That is why they spend millions of dollars putting up signs in Times Square saying, come to Jamaica and feel all right. And tourism is up and all of that. So if you can have the good out there and you're making everything appear as if it is good, there's nothing wrong if people feel aggrieved and they want to protest. Just make sure they're dirty 30 that when you're doing your protest, that what you are protesting about is true, and it is a part of the accountability meter in 2024 where things are at your fingertips and how we receive information. So I welcome it. BCA said, I'm sorry, looks like it know that no matter what happens at the end of the next election, there will be a new government. And congratulations now to Marky G and the new first lady and all of these things, because I mean, you get what you pay for. And the fact that we now have to pay the quality of what we're paying for, it starts with competence. It starts with human rights. It starts with equality. It starts with respect for the constitutional rights of the least among us. There's no way that a serial constitutional government will have any sympathy, will gain any sympathy and any traction. And for those who are complaining that there's a proper information being put out. It's quite embarrassing that $20 billion is spent on Cornwall Regional Hospital and you say that that is misinformation. A budget of $2 billion that has ballooned to $20 billion could never be misinformation. Facts are facts. And no matter how you pretty it up, it is what it is. What it is. That's how that look at. But I'm not to detract. I just brought that up for you to it's a matter for you because it is a hot topic. It's happening tomorrow. Nothing will stop it, certainly. And so that's just how it will have to be done. And I mean, for me, it's almost like that's why I love dancehall, because if a clash is a clash. Because if then the Jamaican government, if allow them for set up shop and do protest, and then them say, spit 2 bars and get 2 dub plates and make it a dancehall thing. Dirty 30, you know it go. Yeah. And like Zamba said, the facts of life. And that's my take on that aspect. Now, I did say the lines are open. If you don't want to chat to me, I can chat to myself. And if this was a swivel chair, I'd say chat to my back, but it don't go so far. But I shouldn't say chat to my back, because next thing we're not going to open a lawsuit and then we're not going to try to take my house and then judge I guess to sell my house and all of them things, and I'm have to come on live and say, oh no, wicked, because you know see what them do to ladies are over one dog. But I tell you, this life, where is the equality and the equity? But yeah, that's that. So takeaways from today's show, since nobody else is calling. Equality is in fact that they want and demand, no uncertain terms, that they want equitable treatment, not just from public officials, but from the people they live around. I think that we are in our capacity, because I'm in no ways how I deal with my family and friends equitably and equally. Me just nah give you none. So everybody I gotta have to suffer, and me when I gotta eat my chicken. That is equitable treatment, because if I cannot provide for all, I'm providing from none, because me not treat nobody better than the next. Yeah, I have full understanding that the internet has embarrassed me today. I promise you it won't happen next week. Greetings, my brother. How you doing? Talk to me.
Thanks for continue talking knowledge out there. Right?
Mm-hmm.
How do we get such niche on the ground for the people who live in the rural area?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's needed. I heard you talking about quality and equity.
Mm-hmm.
Can I hear about myself?
All right. How do we get this knowledge on the ground? I think people in the rural areas, I think them listen to Reasoning with Rattigan and the Andre Stevens show and all of these things. So when I travel across Jamaica through the day, that's the medium in which people are actually listening, and the Jeffrey Tavares and the Wayne Lonesomes and internet. TikTok is the place to be. And so if people want to disseminate information, we are now in the social age, and they literally have the yeah, I hear you clearly though, and I think I am having that I I'm having some internet issues. I'm mindful of it and will correct it for next week. But I think that's the best thing that we can do in terms of um, providing knowledge to people and understand that certainly for context matters. I hope you're hearing me, because you're also breaking up, so I'm gonna have to cut the call. But one of the things that I think that we can do is to appreciate that knowledge is endless. I learn from you. But it is only the starting point of things we are to be thinking about. Things we are to be thinking about generally, and things we are to be thinking that as we traverse, we are in the month of May. You see how time is moving fast. What are your goals for the rest of 2024? What are you hoping for? And as you achieve those goals, you have to remember that there is something called bad mind and people that are not going to want it to achieve them, and it causes the lack of equality and the lack of is aloe vera and Cersei and all of them things. They all do it good for you. Hate is a bitter medicine. The wonderful work of God, when He causes people to rise up against you, is for you to self-check, for you to regulate, so you don't self-destruct. All of these things are real things that I say. Things happen in life sometimes that when I read the Bible, I know that a lot of the things that's in the Bible, I think Noah really belongs. An area that in the ocean 110 degrees hot and bubbling, and the water hot down under there. Like if you put your foot in it, it will scar, and it says, and the water overflowed and it was hot. And you say, no, this is embellished, but Noah have these ships that on the ocean, and everybody go up on cruise, and the ship's bigger than any building in Jamaica. Can you believe it? And of course, all of the wicked them dead off. And of course, the animals went in. In Mount Sinai, and he got the 15 commandments and he dropped 5, and he only tell people 10, and because he never have an iPhone and couldn't get it out of the cloud and tell us what the real 15. He'd use a slingshot, one pop, and kill Goliath. Of course, these things happened. And interacted. Yeah, I realize I'm aware of the internet. Everybody's telling me about it, but so it go. It's flow. It's the trashiest. And one I should have known when I said to people, I'm going to ensure that I connect my internet. I'm going to sure that I connect Starlink to this next week, because this will never happen. The next thing that I wanted to say is, so when we see things happen and God remove us from spaces, it's always for a reason. I'm just going to leave it there and say that I every day in my life I wake up and I see the work of God, and I have a full understanding that God does exist. I'm not straying from the point. I do appreciate why it was that every, and I'm saying to you, you're not asking for equality, you're asking for Echo say my children are bright, I just don't have the money to send them to school. Help. And time when you wake up, look in the mirror and say, I matter. Because until you know that you matter, and when you're telling people that they matter and they don't feel like they matter, that's why I get here to say that there's nothing that happened in your life that can be bad. If not even, I shouldn't say if, when I write a book, yeah, it won't happen again, I promise. But when I write guidance from God, a higher power, you will appreciate that lives. And so what is sorrow today with God, and things happens in God times, in God's time, God and time, and that you can begin to articulate yourself. You can begin to protest and speak out. And I hope that during this conversation, I did speak of the lady with the blessing, the blessed sets of twins. I think twins are the most amazing, amazing. And color and say you're ugly because them look like you. Anyway, it is something to meet her. I would be honored to bless her as that be to. They need to just give her a house, put her in a house. Private sector, public sector need to support her and use her as a social children, two of them at a time. I did time being raised and given the opportunity to go to the Campions and the Immaculates and the JCs and the universities and become doctors and lawyers. I've seen the 5 to 10 kids that they have are all lawyers. And this particular woman, and I would love for Jamaica to adopt her and adopt us from now. And if you put 30 years, he won't hear me. But yeah, and that at that time, just to see the growth and to see the opportunity and the contribution that could do to Jamaica. But I'm all over the place today, like the internet. But you get what I'm saying. I'm completely embarrassed. This Context Matters was completely messed up by Flow. And put what yeah, we need innovators and scientists, but that's the point. An athlete, a scientist, an engineer, a nurse, a reggae artist, a dancer. That's the point I'm making. And if we use the Cuban model, you can be the greatest football player and the grade you can design as an architect, and you still can be a lawyer. Just like I am a real estate agent and I'm a lawyer. Those different percentages that is given, who I also happen to be. So you want to be able to do all that you can and have multiple talents and multiple equitable treatment, and that can be achieved. So, and it's beautiful to be able to celebrate other people when they achieve something great, and that's pretty much where I was coming from with that. And so, for me, I truly apologize for yeah, for the poor quality of the context matters brought to you back. And I hope they hear it. Oh, Megawatt say I thought a real estate agent, him and Juliet have $800 million investment. I love how you just mix me up into that. My name easy for mix up, as something that's I sat alone and stand alone, and you bring me in that. Very interesting. Anyway, I did enjoy this show. I think always talking about equity, talking about equality, as it is found in the Constitution, and trying to discrimination and people can easily be off. But I tell you, sometimes you have to just turn it around and push it back in to get a good understanding. And it is in that vein that I just sit down and I just laugh and I said, people, we take live show closes say Mr. John Clark is one of the most erudite lawyers in Jamaica. He's my attorney, my Jamaican attorney. Rattigan is my American attorney. But life will come at you in many ways, Mr. Clark, because you are a great man, and nothing will stop you from making your contribution, especially in the legal field, and impacting lives. And as God speaks to you, I know you will hear, and greatness will flow from any unfortunate events that will come your way. Yeah, you have taught me many things, and you have guided me in law. I'm using my platform to say, keep strong, my brother. And as God speaks to you, listen, because the road to your greatness is through listening. And blessings. So for that's context matters for May 9th. Again, Roxanne, my sister, big up yourself. Happy birthday. If Alzheimer's don't reach you yet at our age, I just want to say I love you. You know it already. And to all my context matters people, thank you so much for always stopping in. Thank you so much for participating. The comments is always amazing. I'm glad this is a space where you can express yourself and you say whatever you want. You are not blocked. You are not barred. Yeah. And the word is always love. And for those who are offended, because in my what's the word I should use? In my ability to speak to people or have conversations with people, I am always ready to speak about God, because I don't exist without God, which is one of the reasons why I speak about it. And I invite everybody to take a moment to be God-centered. Not send anybody into church, I'm just saying, recognizing that there's a higher power, and that higher power is within you. Be still and know and God and time will always be the mantra. All is well, everybody. And just remember, because you matter, I matter. Because we matter, context matters.
It took some time to understand, yeah, just what it takes to be a man. Now it seems each day you learn something to make a better way. Like growing up ain't just a phase, it's reality. And sometimes it's hard to face the world with your head screwed on. But in time you will see it comes naturally, like the hurt and the pain. It's a part of the game. It's all a part of life. To laugh and to cry, that's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way. But if you need a helping hand, just call on me, I will be your friend. And when it gets hard to face the world with your head screwed on, just tell yourself you can. And that's when you'll understand that the hurt and the pain, it's a part of the game. It's all a part of life. To laugh and to cry, that's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. You gotta keep on moving on. Don't let no one stand in your way. Gotta keep on pressing on. As we pray for better days, keep it moving. Moving to the next. When they try to bring you down, we gotta take it to the next level when they come around. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. Just keep your head up, yeah. Just keep your head up, yeah. Gotta keep your head up, yeah. 'Cause everything's gonna be alright.
Keep your head up. Keep your head up. Keep your head up.
'Cause everything's gonna be alright.
'Cause everything's gonna be alright.